Welcome to the Explainer, everyone. Today, we're diving straight into The Widow Matchup, a practical field guide for San Diego homeowners. Listen, if you live in the San Diego area, the spider population in your own backyard is going through a massive active shift right now. We're talking about a real-time takeover by a brand new neighbor, and it's something, frankly, every single homeowner needs to be aware of.
Check out this number, 20 to 1. Yeah, 20 to 1. That is the staggering ratio of brown widows to black widows currently living around San Diego homes right now, according to UC Riverside research. I mean, think about that. If you spotted a widow spider tucked under your patio furniture lately, there's a massive statistical probability it's the newer brown widow rather than the notorious black widow we all grew up fearing.
All right, moving into Section 1, the new spider in town, how the brown widow took over SoCal. Okay, let's dive right into this. How exactly did we get to a 20 to 1 ratio? Well, the brown widow isn't even native to California. They first showed up in Southern California back in the early 2000s, and man, since then they have spread like wildfire across 5 counties: Los Angeles, Orange, San Diego, Riverside, and San Bernardino.
So why are they winning this turf war? It's simple, really. Brown widows tolerate close contact with people way better than black widows do. While your classic black widow likes to hide away in the dark, completely out of sight, the brown widow totally fine building a web in exposed, everyday spots right alongside our families and our pets. They literally thrive where humans live. Now, before you hit the panic button, take a look at this quote. UC entomologists note that the shift toward brown widows may actually be lowering the overall risk of a serious spider bite in Southern California neighborhoods. I know, it sounds totally counterintuitive, right? Like, how could a massive spider invasion be a good thing? But because brown widow venom is actually much milder, this specific takeover is technically making our yards slightly safer overall.
But since they're everywhere, you really need to know exactly what you're looking at. That brings us to Section 2, Spotting the Differences, a head-to-head matchup.
And this brilliantly illustrates the physical differences. The classic black widow is, well, shiny, jet black, about half an inch long, and rocks that famous bright red or orange hourglass on its belly. The brown widow, though, is a bit smaller, maybe 3/8 of an inch. It's got this mottled, kind of marbled pattern ranging from tan to dark brown, and its hourglass, it's a much duller orange or yellow. In fact, sometimes it's kind of hard to see at all. Now here's where it gets really interesting, the egg sacs. Because spiders love to hide during the day, identifying their vastly different egg sacs is basically the ultimate homeowner cheat code. A black widow's egg sac is smooth, tan, teardrop-shaped. Pretty standard. But the brown widow egg sac? No way you'll mix it up. It is highly distinct, covered in these small, spiky points, kind of resembling a puffed-up burr or a dried piece of coral. If you spot that spiky ball, you know exactly who's living there.
And get this, their personalities are totally different too. Black widow behavior is classic. You disturb it, it stands its ground. The brown widow, on the other hand, is quite the dramatic actor, super skittish. If you bother a brown widow, it's way more likely to just curl up into a tiny ball, play dead, and literally drop to the floor. It would much rather put on an Oscar-winning performance than actually bite you.
All right, so now that we know what they look like and how they act, let's move on to Section 3. Where are they hiding? Mapping your yard's spider territory.
Take a look at this territorial breakdown. Black widows are still claiming the classic hideouts, right? Your garages, wood piles, sheds, those dark, undisturbed, ground-level corners. But the brown widow, they are incredibly bold. You'll find them right on the undersides of patio furniture, tucked into mailboxes, chain link fences, outdoor garbage cans, and yeah, even kids' toys and playground equipment. Their bold real estate choices put them right in the high-traffic areas where our kids and pets are playing every single day.
And because they're hanging out in those high-traffic areas, we need to talk about Section 4, Assessing the Bite Danger. What happens if you get bitten? Both of these spiders pack neurotoxic venom, but the medical reality of a bite is very different for each species. It's super important to understand this without, causing unnecessary panic.
Let's start with the black widow. A black widow bite is a very real medical event. We're talking sharp pain at the bite site within minutes. Within an hour, that can escalate to severe muscle cramping, rigid abdominal muscles, nausea, and potentially even difficulty breathing. Now, while healthy adults rarely die from it, this absolutely warrants an immediate call to a doctor or poison control, especially, and this is absolutely crucial, especially if the victim is a child, an older adult, or someone with a heart condition.
Contrast that with the brown widow bite. Totally different story. Most bites just cause localized pain, a bit of redness, and swelling that resolves on its own. Kind of like a typical bee sting. Systemic symptoms are highly uncommon.
So, the crucial point is this. If you get bitten by a spider and you aren't 100% sure which one it was, you must treat it like a black widow bite until a medical professional confirms otherwise. Try to safely capture the spider for identification, but obviously only do that if you can pull it off without risking another bite.
All right, so we've identified them, we know where they hide, and we know the risks. Let's transition into Section 5, how to take action, DIY removal versus calling a pro. What exactly should you do when you inevitably spot one of these widows on your property?
If you just find a single spider in an isolated spot, this is usually a pretty straightforward DIY job. Here are your concrete executable steps. Step 1, put on some gloves. Step 2, grab a vacuum with a long hose attachment so your hands stay safely away from the web. Step 3, suck up the spider and, this is critical, the egg sac. Finally, Step 4, seal that vacuum bag or empty the canister into a sealed bag and get it outside. Never forget that a single spiky brown widow egg sac can hold over 100 spiderlings. If you vacuum the spider but leave that sac behind, you've literally completely undone all your hard work.
But what if you're dealing with more than just one? You'll want to call in a licensed pro when you hit these criteria. You're finding multiple spiders spread across the property, those spiky egg sacs are constantly reappearing after you clear them, or the spiders are hanging out in high-traffic play areas or patios. A licensed technician doesn't just clear the active spiders and sacs, they'll actually apply a residual barrier around your foundations and fence lines to keep new spiders from moving right back in behind them. So, we've covered the dramatic rise of the brown widow here in San Diego, how to spot those unique spiky egg sacs, exactly where they like to hide, and what you need to do to handle them. I want to end this explainer with a final thought for you. Next time you pull out a patio chair, will you check underneath? And if you find a spiky egg sac, will you know exactly what to do? Stay informed, stay vigilant, and thanks for joining me today.